Hi, friends. Thank you for joining us on Fitness Friday on Food for Thought. My name is Sunil Chandy, and I am the rector and priest here at Christ Episcopal Church in Westerly, Rhode Island. And this is a ministry out of Christ Episcopal Church. And we're actually coming from my house, and you've got my corner here. I think this is probably the corner that I wanted you all to see. That I have green vegetation. I have the light coming from the outside, and me engaging you in conversation. So today we usually would have a guest, but we had a challenge, and that guest is not able to be with us today. So nonetheless, I thought we should still have a conversation about fitness and health. It's so important. You see me not in my clergy dress. I'm in my workout clothes. I have a hat on because my hair it's a bad hair day because I just came back from working out and I just didn't want to. My wife said, don't do that. Put on a hat. And so I'm putting on a hat. And so I thought maybe we'd have a conversation about fitness nonetheless. And Ben is here, and Ben's always a good conversational partner. Hey,
Hey
Ben,
everybody.
how are
Hey
you
Father Snail,
doing?
how are you?
I'm doing great. It's so good to have you always as a backup,
There you go. Yeah, I'm everyone's backup. I love it.
You you should you're you're the center stage guy. What can I
Yeah.
say?
I should start advertising my services as that. I'm everyone's backup. Um or I believe in Hebrew, Benjamin means like son of the right
Oh,
hand man.
oh, you are the right
There
hand
we go.
man. I love
There we
it.
go. Yeah.
And oftentimes your voice just comes out of this thing where we don't even see you on screen. So your voice is like the voice of God sometimes to us.
Occasionally. That's the goal at least. I can trick people into that.
Yeah.
But so you just came from a workout.
Yeah, you know what? I wanted to ask our guest today about this HIIT workout, the high intensity
Interval
training,
training.
yeah, interval training workout. And I've been doing that, and I've been, and it's actually helped me with my running a bit. So I'm actually using it to run on my treadmill, and it's helped me a lot, especially with my with when Simi and I work out together. She used to run so much faster than I was. And at one time I used to run, and then I stopped, and life came in the way. And then so she was a faster runner, and we put this sled together, and so pushed this sled together, and with this high intensity interval training, I've been able to increase my capacity to so much so that I could actually beat her in a race, which is really great.
There you go. There you go. That's awesome. That's huge. Even with the surgically repaired knee.
That's right. It was so yeah, so yeah. I actually beat her in a race, and we did it in a way where we were pushing the sled, and so I'll tell you, I won't. Don't tell her. Yeah, she's gonna know.
No, she's not gonna watch. She's not a fan. She's not a fan.
She actually cheated the last time. She started before I did.
Oh, that's awesome. Was this a workout with Jason at the studio?
Yes, it is. It's a
Very,
Yeah,
very nice.
it was Jason Stevens has been really wonderful for us. I mean, so I do this high intensity interval training along with some weight lifting, and then and really try and control the portions that I'm eating and watching them very closely. And part of the reason for this, I think, and the reason for this show, for these Fitness Friday episodes that we have, it's because this is one way to mitigate the effect of COVID, the COVID virus. I mean, one of the important things is to eat right, to exercise, because how healthy you are affects how your body will be able to engage in fighting this virus. And the other thing is also vitamin D is very important. I mean, I had a conversation with our own Bishop Nicely, and we were talking about the benefits of vitamin D, going outside and getting just being in sunlight is a mood elevator, and also it helps us to produce this hormone called vitamin D. which is important for every cell in our body.
Absolutely. Yeah. Bishop Nisley, a man of science as
Yeah,
well.
that's
Um,
right.
and so what about how long have you been working with a personal trainer now?
Now it's about 8 months, I think. And Jason, it's been really amazing how I feel so much more vibrant, and alive.
One of the things that I love about having a trainer is accountability, right? Like I feel like because not everybody can afford a personal trainer, obviously, and that's a big hurdle. But the like in addition to the knowledge, which you can get sort of, like it's always great when you have somebody personalizing your workouts and whatnot. But you can get like knowledge and techniques and stuff online and learn how to do things, but having that accountability of just having to be somewhere and having to show up and having to work out, and and you feel like you're letting that other person down if you're not doing it. How has that been for maintaining your fitness habits?
It's been very good. Part of the thing is that Simi and I struggle with this all the time about, well, you know, is this good money spent? Is this money that is that can help us? And it isn't cheap, and it's just kind of like almost like a doctor's visit,
Yep.
after the copay and everything. And so it's kind of like, so could that be an extra expense? Because we have a host of expenses with our kids and all of the household and all the things that we have to meet in terms of expenses. But we decided that our health is very important. There's this old adage that my mother always used to remind me of, and she said, health is wealth, right?
Yep.
And health is wealth. Health is, and Jesus reminds us that we have to that our bodies are a gift, and they're the temple that houses our soul, and so we need to take care of it. And so the idea of, so we when we budget ourselves for the month and for the year, we say, okay, yes, this is valuable for us, just like our doctor visits are valuable for us, just like what we eat is valuable for us, because at the end of the day, if we take all of our money and spend it on, wastefully in many different ways, and we don't have health, we're not going to live. We're not going to be able to be vibrant and hopeful. Now, back to that question you say about the accountability piece. Oh yeah, I mean, like there are times that our workouts are usually at 7:30 on Monday mornings, and Simi sometimes works the evening shift on Sunday night, and so she comes back sometimes late, and so the next day is really a struggle, and she's the one usually getting us moving and stuff, and so in those times I am the one saying, look, we need to go, it's good for us, at the end of the day it'll be really important for us. And when we get there, and we start to exercise, it's hard at the very beginning, but then as our muscles start to move a little bit, then it becomes so much easier and it becomes fun.
Absolutely. And I think that people underestimate, or or they think that like um they overestimate how difficult it is to start moving. And also, people go too hard too fast on things and then they burn themselves out,
Yeah.
which is another situation that's just terrible. And but you can do a lot by just taking small steps, originally, right? Like, so these are two. Let me see if I have these. This is a picture that I looked at the other day. I was talking to Allie and Dave the other day, and we were literally just like, you know, what was the difference of when we started eating at home more, right? When we like, so I was doing a thing, and then COVID happened in March 2020, and then there was no more restaurants, no more takeout for like 3 months. We really ate at home. not even like super clean and super what, just a little change. And this is let me see if I can get it. This is a 2-month difference from, or a 3-month difference from March to June 2020.
Oh yeah. Wow. Look at that.
And that was, there was no exercise. And as you know, I was sitting at this desk every single day for a long period of time, but there was such a big difference in that just from,
Yeah.
just from, just from that. And then once I started just simply walking every day,
Yeah.
uh, just a little bit, just walking a little bit all the time. Here, these are same shirt as well.
Yes.
Uh,
Beautiful. Look at
the difference in those two things, like, and that wasn't with going to the gym 5 days a week and fully restricting everything, and like,
and if you look at
it's been a huge, so small things can make a huge difference.
but look at the difference in the facial expressions. I love that. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a certain there's pride, there's happiness, there's joy that you're actually engaging your body, I think, and doing
here's a
things.
good here's a good one. This is a terrible, the first side is like a comically terrible picture, but this is a 2-year difference. This is a no, this is a yeah, this is 2020, beginning of 2020 to beginning of 2021.
Love it. I love it. Look at that. And look at I love the smile on your face on the right side. It's beautiful. I mean, you got to you look a little bit haughty on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't like the shirt. I was testing out the shirt that I was putting on. I was like, I don't like it. But
But
that's the,
that actually brings up a good point, and that reinforces the point that Dr. Flaherty, John Flaherty, the chiropractor that comes every now and then on on Fitness Friday, he suggested that he gave us a graph that shows the difference between intense exercise and overall health versus small, gradual, not so intense a workout. And he said the difference is negligible, in terms of helping your body. So it's just what he was saying, I think, which is what you're saying, is that just start something, anything. It
Mhm.
doesn't have to, and just be consistent in it. Now,
Yep.
there is an interesting thing. I just want to make one point. Every morning my shoulders hurt like crazy. I mean, it's just like, my knee, it was my knee, but I'm getting older, right? So now it's my shoulders. My shoulders hurt every morning. And sometimes, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I can't even lift it, right? And I can't uh, at the very beginning. And so what happens is Jason makes us do this helicopter exercise with my shoulders. And the thing is, the first two or three are really painful. But then what happens is somehow I think the body lubricates that joint, and the third, the fourth, the fifth, it becomes gradually easier the more you move it. And so it's just like anything in life. I think it's the initial steps are always the hardest, and then but as you continue to be persistent in it, it becomes actually uh, much better, and much more a joyful experience. So that's another thing you were suggesting.
Absolutely. And one thing that I wanted to talk about with you, because Jay and I talked about this a little bit on his podcast this past week, is something that you actually, this wasn't a fitness thing necessarily. It was more of a prayer situation for you. Um, but you talked about, probably 2 years ago, that you were talking to your spiritual director, or whatever, about being sort of tired at night, going through your evening prayer routine, and they suggested that you just dance a little bit. And I know that you love to dance.
Oh, I love it. I mean, we gotta bring a dance person here too. I think it's just great. I do that still.
Yeah, one of the so what I talked about was, obviously, like, so I really love going out for early morning walks, but when it's like dark and icy out,
Yeah.
I don't do that as often. So I was like, I found myself kind of just sitting in this room and like starting work at like 7:30 in the morning and then being here until like 9 o'clock at night and not getting the amount of steps that I wanted in the day. And I remembered that and I implemented a 2-song dance break rule, which was every time that I had to get up to, go to the bathroom or get a drink or something, I would have to stop and put 2 songs on and dance around the room to them, and I slowly got the step count back up, and then I started running in place with that and whatnot. But
Beautiful.
but it was once again, right, that small amount of movement that, like, just put a song on that you like and dance around like an idiot to it, or not like an idiot, I know I'm too harsh. But, like, just dance and be fine with being foolish, you're by yourself. Um, Helped, get more into a routine, and then yesterday was beautiful out, and I got to go for a really nice long walk again, and it was so wonderful. But I had, like, stayed in shape because I was, dancing around the room and running in place and doing those things every time that I had an opportunity to get up and making sure that I made that hour every time.
And here's a spiritual piece that you might add to it if you think of it, and might add you to the idea of it being even more meaningful an experience, because dancing in itself and moving is important, right? But then you might feel foolish around it, right? You might say, oh, I'm just dancing by myself, I'm just in the room, and but then if you tag it to the idea of, dear God, thank you for my body, thank you for my ability to be able to move, to dance to music, and I thank you for this, just like I thank you for everything else. And I thank you in the name of Jesus Christ. Just
Yes.
or just say amen. And that might add to this idea that, yeah, it may seem silly, but it's also important. It's important for the body, it's important. And then also it's an act of being grateful to God. The reason why I did this, I did an episode on, no, my spiritual director. We talked about this because during the second time of the day, I was just getting very tired and overwhelmed, and I had work to do, and I had reading to do, and everything. It was just harder, and so he's she we talked about a passage from Kings when King David is the Ark of Covenant is brought back to Jerusalem, and David is now bringing it into his household. And what he does is he dances around the Ark of Covenant. It's as if it was the idea that God is back in God's home. The place that the the holy vessels are back in God's country. And he was dancing with joy around it. And he looked almost foolish. And his wife said to him, "Why are you dancing like a fool?" Right? And then David's response is very, very powerful. He says, "Look, I'll dance like a fool if I want to, in the for the glory of God." It was expressing his joy. And so do it, dance it, run it.
It is joyful, right?
Yeah.
It is like the music starts, you put on some music that you like. That might be Tony Braxton if your father's Sunil. It might be some oldies, might be
Yeah.
something like this. And you just start dancing.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. the
Just
other
move
thing
your
is also
body.
the other thing is also, it's beautiful that uh you know the idea about fitness is exactly that.
Yep.
You start moving your body, and then fitness is and I like this, and this is I'm quoting the personal trainer that we have, Jason. You know, it's journey. The destination is the journey. It's not you're trying to you're trying to go through this arduous process in order to get somewhere. The journey, the destination is that we call the exercise can be joyful in itself. The watching of what you're eating and eating properly can be joyful in itself, and that's what I wanted to have.
Um, the first conversation that I ever had with Jason was in 2012, and he said, "What do you like to do?" I assume that you don't like to just throw up a bunch of weights and stuff. And I kind of did actually because I grew up playing football and in the weight room. But I was like, I like basketball. I really like playing basketball. That's one of my favorite things to do. Is to go out and play basketball. And he was like, cool. So we're gonna get you to a point where in a couple months you're just out playing basketball for fun. And like working out doesn't have to be, if you like to dance, you should dance. And if you like to run, you should run. If you like to beat your wife with the sled race, in the sled race and run
Yeah,
faster
let's
than
be
her.
careful about that. The phrasing of
Yeah,
that.
if you like to win a sled race against your wife,
That's right.
thank you. Do
Because
that.
usually
Like,
it's the other way. It could be the other way around.
it could be the other way around. Yeah. If you wanna, leave your husband in the dust crying when you run a foot race, like those are really fun things for everybody to do, right?
Yeah.
Um and my parents loved when they never did anything ever physical. And then we got one of those like self like DIY pools a long time ago. And then all summer long, all of a sudden, like they they were working out every day, and then they
Yeah.
felt better, and it added years to their lives. um but making sure that something is enjoyable and repeatable and maintainable, and not worrying about like the end result, but focusing on the journey of it, I think is such great advice,
I
Father
think
Sunil.
I think so too. I think so.
um I had another thought and I forgot what it was. Oh, you said the thing about like counting your calories and watching your portions and stuff can be a joyful experience, right? And that reminded me of a quote, and I'm not sure who it's by. It might be like the Dalai Lama or something, but it was that like too often we reward ourselves with the thing that is the negative thing, right? Like you diet for a long time, and then you're like, I'm going to reward myself with a nice gigantic piece of chocolate cake. And it's changing your thinking to like, why is the thing that hurts you the reward, right? Not that you can never have another piece of cake. That's fine, that is what it is. But when you've done this, the reward is how you feel when you're eating better. The reward is how you feel. How do you feel, Father Sunil, before you go work out with Jason at 7:30 on a Monday morning? I know you can't be excited to go
You know what? It's a
before you work out.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. I mean, there are times that we're like debating, oh my God, should we go? Could we reschedule this? All this stuff. But I'll tell you, you're right. It's harder once we get there. But there has been so much positive reinforcement with it. I mean, I go there with my wife. We go together. We work out together. We meet Jason. Jason's always so pleasant to talk to, and he's always, and I love the insight that we get, and I love the feeling that we get once we're working. When that first, oh my God, the stretches are hard. Like I do this. What they do is these Spider-Man stretches that were so hard for me at the very beginning, right? And they still are hard, right? And so, but you get through the first three, and then the next seven are so much easier, and that's what, and that feeling is what I really remember and try to imprint in me. So you're right. After I come out of a workout, I'm feeling like I accomplished something. I've sweated. I've also connected with my wife in a special way. We're doing this together. I mean, um, for a Valentine's Day, I got her a little card, and it's just a husband and wife or a couple just running together, and that's what we're doing together. And then so that's that in a special. I love the conversation with Jason. I love also the feeling of having accomplished something so early in the day. It's all beautiful.
One of the one of my favorite quotes that I started hearing recently is by James Clear. It's you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And the the fact that there's been so much positive reinforcement, the fact that you go with Simi and that you get to have these fun conversations and competitions, right? Like, we joked about it, but the fact that you're like so proud that you're able to beat her in a sled race is something that makes it more enjoyable to go, right? The fact that you have an accountability buddy and a personal trainer, and your system is that you're investing this money in your health, and in this means that you're probably going to make sure that you go.
Yeah.
And so often when we don't have a system like that, when we're not setting ourselves up for that, we're setting ourselves up to not meet our goals.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I get it. And you know what? And I know our time is almost up, but there's this one other piece. It's interesting that you say that, because the systems that I set up, right? And then what happens is sometimes in life those systems somehow get awry. An emergency comes up and you can't go that day, or the plans that you have are thrown out, and you start. I know I do. I start beating myself up, but then what I remember is that if we just start back again, all right. So sometimes life happens, challenges push our systems aside, and the thing is not to bewail it and too long and just say, "Oh, woe is me," and then continue to not do the thing that is necessary, but rather to just hop back on and try it again and restart. I mean, one of the things that happens, and I'm finding part of my system throughout the day is also prayer, right? And what I just noticed is that sometimes I have disappointments in the day, and then it could emotionally and spiritually, I'm at not a right place to follow the system, and then I beat myself up again. But what I notice is that if I put prayer in between and just say, God, I'm sorry, I need your help, or I need to get back somehow, or and then confess and just say, I'm human, I'm fallible, it's okay, and then start again. I feel so much better. I mean, the biggest thing is exactly the systems are important, but sometimes the systems, life, it happens where the systems are pushed out, but then you just get back to it as
Yeah,
quickly as you can to recover.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you for being on my show today, Father Sunil.
Well, thank you, Ben. Thank you. God bless you.
You as well,
All right.
and also with you.
And
I wanted to end by saying one last thing.
yeah.
Namaste, Betsy.
Namaste, Bessie. All right. Good. Folks, thank you for being with us again. And let's end this time with just simply the Lord's Prayer. The Lord be with you. Let us pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Lead us not, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Friends, go in peace and love and serve God. Go out there, be active. It's a beautiful day. Run outside if you are, if you can, or walk outside or do something. But spread joy and allow the joy of God's light and hope to come into your hearts and into your bodies. And spread it.
Thanks for watching. Did you know that you can join Christ Church from anywhere in the world? If you're feeling connected to what we're doing, email us today at communicate@christchurchwesterly.org.